Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Catarina Mello, General Coordinator for Research at the Ministry of Fisheries and Aquaculture, and I would like to welcome you to our panel that's entitled Belém-Campo Grande Roadmap for Sustainable Fisheries and Aquaculture. And my script is in Portuguese, so I'll try my best here. Let's move on here. First, we would like to give a little bit of context. This panel, basically what we want, our goal will be bring some connection between this forum, this panel that we inserted right now, living right now, COP30, about climate changes and how the climate change impact livelihoods, forests, fisheries. And the other important commission is going to be commission for migratory species that also will occur here in Brazil, in Campo Grande. So the idea is to give some connection between those two commissions. And what happened in the last year, in the last COP for CMS, is that two big catfishes of Amazon was included in the list. So that's why we bring this. That's why it's so important for the Ministry of Fisheries. And in this case, the two species were Dorada and Piramutaba. I'm sorry, I don't know the name in English, but the two big catfish from the Amazon. And we know that the big issues for the species are primarily the climate changes that affect the habitat and the migratory route of these fisheries. So this is a little bit of context and what the synergy between the COP30 that we are in right now and the COP15 that we will be in the next year. The synergies could be highlight the global climate change challenges, biodiversity conservation, promotion of the resilience of Amazon ecosystems, encouragement of sustainable use of natural resources, integration of environmental, social, and economic dimensions in fisheries, and contribution to a vibrant and prosperous Amazon for future generations. So we'll have here some panelists that will talk a little bit of our context, Brazil, Peru, OTCA, actually, I don't know how to say in English, ACTO, and the government of Norwegian as well, that is going to be talking a little bit about congregate all those information in cooperation, international cooperation. So we have a video that will, it's in Spanish, but I will try to, it's working? Yeah, while I'll be talking. This year, we gather with some other countries to talk about, no, it's, yeah, to do, just a minute, to do a plan of action for the, yeah, okay. We're going to watch this and later I would say.
Además, es hogar de más de 2.700 especies, incluidos los grandes miradores de un papel clave en los ecosistemas. Mantener la conectividad de la población es esencial para conservar la biodiversidad, los medios de vida de millones de personas y la resiliencia frente al cambio climático. Hoy, justamente, esta serie de empresas biológicas, nación, juegos desordenados, fragmentan los ríos y alteran la cueva. Cuando los ríos dejan de fluir libremente, se rompe la conexión que sostiene la biodiversidad, el clima y la vida de millones de personas. Esa conexión que une los Andes con el estuario del Amazonas permite que los peces migratorios, esenciales para la alimentación y la cultura de las comunidades ribereñas, completen su ciclo de vida.
Isso influencia também na reprodução das espécies, a qual não são somente o filhote dourado e a piramutaba, né, mas também outras espécies que que se reproduz ao longo do rio Amazonas e de seus afluentes. Então, a emergência climática, as mudanças climáticas, elas impactam diretamente nas nossas vidas e na nossa produção, na nossa alimentação e na nossa pescaria.
Enfrentar problemas como grandes obras de infraestruturas que vêm afetando a conectividade dos rios e, consequentemente, afetando o ciclo de vida dessas espécies na região. Esperamos que tragam propostas que sejam compartilhadas entre os países que possam enfrentar os desafios como mudanças climáticas, que hoje já vêm afetando a biodiversidade e especialmente essas espécies que são grandes migradoras.
Frente a la crisis climática, la región amazónica necesita políticas que reconozcan que los ríos también son parte de la solución.
Desde la Alianza Aguas Amazónicas, más de 30 organizaciones de 7 países diferentes colaboramos activamente para mantener la integridad y conectividad de los ecosistemas acuáticos a escala de la cuenca amazónica entera. Y para mantener esta conectividad e integridad, proponemos enfocarnos en 3 elementos clave. El primer elemento es conservar los paisajes fluviales de la Amazonía Occidental, que son centros de endemismo y biodiversidad global, y además contribuyen con nutrientes a las llanuras amazónicas y a la costa norte de Sudamérica. El segundo elemento son las llanuras amazónicas, que regulan el flujo de agua, biodiversidad y nutrientes, y que además contribuyen a amortiguar inundaciones. Conservarlas es esencial para mantener la integridad y conectividad de la cuenca amazónica. En tercer lugar, la red conectada de ecosistemas acuáticos sostienen pesquerías en la cuenca amazónica. Más del 80% de los desembarques pesqueros provienen de especies de peces migradores. Sostener pesquerías bien manejadas es esencial para contribuir a la resiliencia de la cuenca amazónica.
Acreditamos que com ciência, cooperação regional e políticas públicas sólidas poderemos assegurar a conservação dos bagres e a sustentabilidade da pesca nessa região, protegendo a Amazônia e fortalecendo nossas comunidades.
Adaptarse al cambio climático significa mantener los ríos libres y saludables, porque de ellos depende la salud de los bosques y el bienestar de millones de personas.
Desde la Alianza Aguas Amazónicas seguiremos colaborando activamente con todas y con todos para mantener la integridad y conectividad de los ecosistemas acuáticos a escala de la cuenca amazónica. Este es esencial para mitigar los impactos del cambio climático y también para las estrategias de adaptación y reducir la vulnerabilidad de sus pueblos frente a esta amenaza.
That was a video that the WCS, other partnerships with ACTO, yeah. ACTO, Ministry of Environment and Ministry of Fisheries did this work that was very important. After the fact that the 2 catfishes entered in the list, we figured out that we need to do more actions to manage more effectively those species. So that's why this plan happened, this meeting happened in Brazil about two months ago. And we all worked together a lot along with other countries and also other initiatives as ACTO, WCS, TNT, to come up with this plan that was really important. Now, let's invite our guests here to give some speech. Let me use here my first, this is our agenda today. I just give you a little bit of context. Now our panelists, our ministry, Vice Ministry of Fisheries and Aquaculture will give you some words. The floor is yours. Yeah, I will invite everyone here. It's better, right? So please, Carmen Garcia, the Director of the Institute of Research of the Peruvian Amazon, please. also the Director Edith Paredes from Amazon Corporation Treaty Organization. And then the Vice Ministry for Commerce, Industry, and Fisheries of the Norwegian government is Brunhild. Is that right? Okay. Thank you, everyone, for your presence. Now, I'll give the floor for our Vice Ministry of Fisheries and Management, Zedipo, please.
Boa tarde a todos, painelistas, senhoras e senhores. É com grande satisfação que lhes dou as boas-vindas. É uma alegria recebê-los na primeira COP na Amazônia. O Brasil preparou uma programação dedicada aos sistemas alimentares aquáticos. São mais de 30 painéis temáticos que darão visibilidade às estratégias de mitigação e adaptação desenvolvidas nos setores pesqueiros e aquícola. O painel de hoje tem um propósito específico, o lançamento do roteiro Belém-Campo Grande para pesca e aquicultura sustentáveis, que marca o trajeto que queremos trilhar entre a COP30 na Amazônia e a COP15 da Convenção das Espécies Migratórias Silvestres, a ser realizada em Campo Grande, em março de 2026, no Pantanal brasileiro. Nesse trajeto, queremos mobilizar parceiros nacionais e internacionais com um objetivo claro: a construção de um plano de ação coletivo voltado à geração de dados e monitoramento, visando o melhor manejo da atividade pesqueira na Amazônia. Estamos convencidos de que a Amazônia, a pesca, é um poderoso instrumento transformador, e investir na pesca sustentável é investir na manutenção da floresta em pé, e é por isso uma solução amazônica para o clima. Os alimentos aquáticos são um componente central da alimentação de 50 milhões de pessoas da região amazônica. Estudos na Amazônia brasileira apontam consumo diário de mais de 500 gramas de pescado inteiro, cru, por pessoa em comunidades ribeirinhas, o que corresponde a um consumo per capita superior a 150 quilos por ano. A pesca, ela gera emprego, renda para milhões de comunidades e populações amazônicas. Os pescadores sabem que depende da saúde dos rios, mares e florestas para ter os peixes em abundância, sendo fonte de sustento a todas as famílias. Por isso, resistem à devastação da floresta amazônica, cuidam dos seus ecossistemas costeiros e também fluviais. Os pescadores e pescadoras são verdadeiros guardiões dos territórios em que vivem. A pesca, como sabemos, é uma atividade diversa, complexa, cultural e profundamente enraizadas nas realidades regionais. Ela varia conforme as espécies-alvo, o tipo de embarcação, o método de captura e o destino do pescado. Muitas espécies são compartilhadas com os nossos 8 vizinhos amazônicos. Essa diversidade, embora seja uma riqueza, também é um desafio. Como compreender e manejar um setor tão heterogêneo, sem informação organizada e que não é dada uma continuidade? Atualmente, falta-nos essa informação. E sem dados não há gestão. E sem gestão não há sustentabilidade. Quando o Ministério da Pesca e Aquicultura foi restabelecido em 2023, assumiu como prioridade a consolidação da estatística pesqueira em nosso território. Fruto de 3 anos de trabalho, concluímos a primeira parte desse esforço. Completamos a reconstrução da estatística da pesca marinha brasileira, consolidando dados de 1950 a 2024. Temos agora pela frente o desafio de levantar dados e consolidar a estatística pesqueira de nossas bacias continentais, com foco na Amazônia. Precisamos desses dados para orientar nossas políticas públicas, promover a gestão sustentável dos recursos e fortalecer as cadeias produtivas do pescado. Trata-se de um desafio enorme, que não podemos superar sozinhos. A bacia amazônica é a maior do planeta, estendendo-se por 9 países sul-americanos: Brasil, Bolívia, Colômbia, Equador, Guiana, Guiana Francesa, Peru, Suriname e Venezuela, cobrindo uma área de aproximadamente 7 milhões de quilômetros quadrados, na qual vivem milhares de comunidades pesqueiras que exploram de ampla as variedades de espécies e inumeráveis técnicas de pesca. Estima-se em mais de 2.500 o número de espécies de peixes dessa região. Muitas são migratórias, centenas delas são pescadas pelas comunidades locais e sem notificação, sem monitoramento e sem o devido manejo. O manejo adequado dos estoques pesqueiros da Amazônia demandará esforços colaborativos entre o governo da região, agências de cooperação e organizações internacionais comprometidos em assegurar a conservação da floresta e da biodiversidade. Além disso, a geração de dados irá demandar criatividade, engajamento de pescadores e o uso múltiplo de abordagem, desde o automonitoramento realizados por comunidades ribeirinhas e costeiras, passando pelo acompanhamento em terminais pesqueiros e pelo registro digital de desembarques, até a reconstrução de séries históricas e a integração com universidades e centros de pesquisa. Esse esforço coletivo preencherá lacunas de informações e consolidará dados de referência para o monitoramento contínuo dessa região. Também guiará a implementação de medidas de manejo coordenadas entre os governos da região, que façam sustentabilidade da pesca, vetor de conservação dos ecossistemas costeiros e fluviais amazônicos e de preservação da floresta em pé. Ao trilharmos o roteiro Belém-Campo Grande, não partiremos do zero, nem caminharemos sozinhos. O Ministério da Pesca e Aquicultura, durante os últimos anos, o governo brasileiro, investiu na geração de dados e na promoção de pesquisa aplicada à gestão pesqueira, apoiando o projeto Integra Pesca, Integração de Dados da Pesca Amazônia, Base para o Desenvolvimento Sustentável, desenvolvendo uma parceria com a Universidade Federal do Pará, sendo essa uma iniciativa que representa um avanço concreto na cooperação científica e institucional, fortalecendo o conhecimento, o monitoramento e o ordenamento na pesca amazônica. Também avançamos no projeto Bagres, focados no monitoramento e no estudo da dinâmica populacional e reprodutiva dessas espécies, da situação dos estoques e também no que tange os aspectos socioeconômicos das principais cadeias produtivas. Na última conferência das partes da Convenção das Espécies Migratórias Silvestres, realizada em 2024, o Brasil patrocinou a inclusão da dourada e da piramutaba no apêndice 2 da Convenção. Essas duas espécies de bagres amazônicos realizam algumas das maiores migrações de águas doces conhecidas no mundo. A dourada, por exemplo, percorre cerca de 11.000 quilômetros dos Andes à foz do rio Amazonas. São espécies que transportam nutrientes, sustentam cadeias ecológicas e, ao mesmo tempo, representam a base da segurança alimentar e da renda de milhares de famílias amazônicas. Essas populações, no entanto, vêm sofrendo pressões crescentes, a perda de hábitats, a sobrepesca, a poluição, a mineração, a construção dos grandes empreendimentos hidrelétricos. Essas pressões são agravadas pela mudança do clima, que impactam seus ciclos reprodutivos e também migratórios. Os dados levantados sobre essas espécies indicam que muitas outras podem estar sendo impactadas pela ação antrópica e pelos efeitos da mudança do clima. Daí a importância do levantamento de dados sobre o tamanho e a saúde dos estoques, da harmonização de medidas de ordenamento entre os países limítrofes, o da gestão pesqueira responsável, com segurança e visão de futuro. O roteiro Belém-Campo Grande é um convite para trilharmos juntos esse caminho da discussão conjunta sobre a gestão da atividade pesqueira na bacia amazônica. Nessa trajetória, precisaremos unir ciência, valorização de conhecimentos tradicionais, engajamento de comunidades pesqueiras e a cooperação internacional para o saber o quanto pescamos, onde, de que forma e quais são os impactos. Precisaremos reforçar a conexão entre os objetivos climáticos, preservação da biodiversidade, conservação da floresta e o uso sustentável dos estoques pesqueiros. O roteiro Belém-Campo Grande será, acima de tudo, uma trajetória de reafirmação do compromisso com o futuro da Amazônia que queremos trilhar com cada um de vocês. Gostaria de agradecer a atenção de cada um. Muito obrigado.
Thank you, Vice Minister. Well, we need to change a little bit of the script because Mrs. Edith Reynolds is going to leave a little bit earlier. So we're going to pass on Mrs. Edith. I'll try to find your presentation here, and then we go to Mrs. Reynolds, then Carmen. Is that okay? Okay, great.
I'm going to stand up so I can see what
Sure.
the order that I'm gonna talk. Thank you very much for having us here in this panel. Sorry, I didn't want to, but it's just that I can see.
It's not working.
Well, I'm gonna start since I'm so sorry that I have to leave, but we have another panel and we already confirmed our participation. But thank you once again for inviting us and for having us here. I'm Edith. I'm one of the directors from ACTO, the Amazonian Cooperation Treaty Organization. And we do have, as the Vice Minister was pointed out, we have 8 member countries. We have Bolivia, Brazil, Ecuador, Colombia, Guyana, Suriname, Venezuela, and Peru. So these are our member states. Thank you very much. And we have been working, and we have a very broad agenda. Since 2023, we have the well-known, maybe for most of you, the Belém Declaration, that includes a lot of a whole bunch of thematics and topics that we have to include in the management of the Amazon region or the Amazon basin, where we are working with. One of those is and regarding and with the connection, it's not working, the connection with, with what has been said about fisheries. But for us, fisheries is it's a very important topic for us. I was very glad to see on the video that a lot of the scenes were at ACTO, because we had a very important meeting with member states and with other partners from the civil society, especially, where they are working on this roadmap to the next COP, what you just mentioned, Vice Minister. So for us, fisheries is one part of it. I'm sorry, it's not working. But maybe I just can go through. And what I would like to share with you, okay, it's that the Belém Declaration has given us a framework with all these topics that we have worked with. And fisheries would be part of water management, food security, health, and as well the bioeconomy or social bioeconomy. We do use these terms because we don't have just one term that has an agreement within the 8 countries. So we have the Mother Earth, we have the bioeconomy, social bioeconomy, but we are all referring to the sustainable economies as well, or alternative economies. And for all these, the 8, we are a secretary, so the 8 countries are the ones who decide and who take decisions. But we have support the working groups for the different activities and for the different targets. And they worked on a strategy for sustainable development and for sustainable economies. Within that strategy that was approved at the most highest level, political and technical level, and we do have here Carmen. She's one of our country delegates, the Peruvian country delegate that participated in the construction of this regional strategic strategy for sustainable development. And this strategy, as well as the strategy for food security, and we do have an integrated regional management for waters. So what are we looking for with these regional spaces for governance or for international cooperation? It's impossible to work with all the countries that they achieve to have the same public policies. So what we're looking at, and what we're looking at a multilateral organization, is to at least have that they do speak the same language, and that they do have the same concepts. Because the differences between the countries, between their public policies, between their socio-economic indicators, between data that you were talking about, it's huge within the countries, but between countries as well. So the challenge is huge, but at least we're having the countries there with agreements. To have one regional strategy is at least to have the 8 countries talking about the same thing, and that they have achieved to have the same concepts and the same knowledge of what we're talking about. This strategy has 3 action plans. One would be the one related to what's markets, related to giving an added value to the Amazonian products. And the other one will be to bring science and a network of all the science, not panels, but we have networks, innovative and science and technology networks within the region, and to bring them together in order to give an added value to these chains and to the products, the Amazonian products, that we can start working for bioeconomy. It's very important. We have included, not we, the countries included, that it was very important to have not the usual chains that we have been talking about at the Amazon region, like acai, like nuts, or other products from the production systems. But it's very important to bring to value the ecosystems and what products we can get from ecosystems, and then start working with them as well. So this is how they worked until we got the approval of this strategy, but not this one. We got all the strategies as well that were approved by the ministers of foreign affairs and by the presidents by August 2025, like 3 months ago. And from there, this is what I told you. What are the main objectives of this strategy for bioeconomy, where fisheries are included, commerce and markets, financial services, and incentives, and science and knowledge. And what's very important here at this strategy, as well as for the other strategies or mechanisms that we are having right now at ACTO that were approved in Bogota, is that we are bringing the indigenous people to the table and to the dialogue. So not to take decisions and to discuss what are their priorities and how do they see. This morning, I was participating in another panel, and we had some representatives of the indigenous people for bioeconomy. How do they work this? And they have their own governance for bioeconomy. They didn't call it bioeconomy. This is new for them as well. But we have to respect their governance systems, and from there on, we can work together. And we have to bring all the actors to the table to discuss what are their priorities, how they're looking, how they are envisioning this to be done. But taking into consideration their knowledge, and talking to them and developing with them these strategies. We do have parallel to this, the mechanisms for indigenous people, where we're sitting for the first time in ACTO's history. We're having one representative of the governments talking with one representative of the indigenous organizations. And they are dialoguing to have what is the priority for them. It's nothing that we want to impose what we think from a headquarters, from an office, that we think it's a good or it's a priority for them. What we want is the other way. So bringing Okay, then for all of these results, we have specific other outcomes that we will look for the regional strategy for sustainable economies. But if we would like to concentrate on fisheries, where are we at with that? We are trying to put a project together on fisheries, on sustainable management for fisheries. And as I told you before, with 3 inputs: food security, bioeconomy, and integrated water management. So we know that it's important, but we need some data. We are working with civil society because none of the countries have the data we need in order to take it and to start building the project. But we do have some data. We have the Amazonian Regional Observatory at ACTO, where we are trying to build modules on different topics. One module of health, another module for water management, another module for fire management, for forests. And we are building 2 right now. The one for food security, and the other one, we want to have something on bioeconomy. Unfortunately, and I have to share the bad news with you, we don't have information. Yeah? Some countries like Brazil, you guys, you have more investigation, you have more information, but specifically for the Amazonian region, we are still having a lot of trouble getting that information. And one of the lessons learned about all this is that either whatever strategy we want to put into place, we have to tailor it to the Amazonian region. We cannot take what has been done, for example, in Africa or in the Mekong region. We do have to tailor it because there are some specificities that have to be taken into consideration for these strategies. So we are here open to build together, to still working together, to get, there are a lot of challenges from a financial point of view, from the political will, from the technical point of view, and from data as well. But there is the kicking point, the starting point already was set up with these approvals from the countries, from the presidents and the ministers of foreign affairs. So I think there's a will. So we have to look for a way together in a cross-cutting topics and with multi-actors and partners. Otherwise, we won't get that farther. So we are here to build together. Countries are engaged. There's a commitment. So let's plan. Thank you for inviting us. We know that we are being part of this construction of the roadmap to get to the next COP on fisheries. And we hope that we will get there with a draft concept note for a regional project on fisheries management, on sustainable fisheries management, and dealing and coping with climate change, but especially with solutions for the people, the Amazonian people and their communities. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Mrs. Edith. Let's crumble a little bit of our agenda. If you may, we can take a picture of all 5 of us together, and then I will pass the floor for our Vice Minister of the region. Is that okay? Okay, Edipo, Carmen, por favor. Let's just take a picture because Mrs. Enid is going to leave early. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. I'm sorry about that. Thank you, Ms. Edith. That was a great speech, and thank you for bringing some of your experience for us. Let's just invite our Vice Minister of the region, please, Mrs. Renute. Is that okay? Is that all right?
Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the Norwegian Minister of Fisheries and Ocean Policy, I am honored to address you here today on a topic at the heart of Norwegian policies. As an ocean nation, we know the importance of aquatic foods for sustainability, food security, and job creation. Norway is blessed with a rich seas and a long coastal line, and our science-based resource management has given us a strong position. We have learned by experience that the ecosystem determines how much we may harvest and what methods we should use to maintain or rebuild stocks, protect recruits, and minimize bycatch. Norway plays an important role, not just as a producer and exporter, but by sharing experience and expertise. We need to learn from each other across borders, species, and food systems. Learn in terms of management, methods, and technology, sharing data, knowledge, and understanding. International cooperation is vital for sustainable fisheries and aquaculture, food security, and ecosystems protection. That is the essence of Norway's policies, and in our view, key to sustainable aquatic food systems globally. The transition to a sustainable future is something we must do together. And I'm happy to say that international cooperation for sustainable aquatic food systems is an area with real progress and results. Norway strongly supports the Law of the Sea Convention, the UN Fish Stocks Agreement, and partakes in FAO's fisheries cooperation, as well as various global and regional agreements on maritime environment. Partnering is essential. Marine scientists from countries sharing stocks must collaborate and trust each other, agree on allocation keys, and adjust quotas to available resources. Aquatic food are key for sustainable food system. Fisheries have lower environmental impact than many food sources, emitting less greenhouse gases and using no freshwater fertilizers, pesticides, or antibiotics. But fish travel across borders, so we need global frameworks. Real-life management relies on a neighborly cooperation. Norway is a member of 5 regional fisheries management organizations, which are increasingly important for combating IW fishing. Fisheries have historically driven Norway's seafood exports and is still important. However, over the past 50 years, Norwegian aquaculture has grown and is today our main pillar. As pioneers in this field, we face challenges first. Sustainability demands addressing environmental status, emissions, and fish welfare. The government is committed to advancing our industry as a future template. Norway fully supports the FAO guidelines for sustainable aquaculture, the first international framework for sustainable development of this sector. Shared understanding of sustainability and common tools are essential for unlocking the potential of aquaculture for better production, nutrition, and environment. Looking ahead, sustainable food systems will equate with aquatic food systems. Food security will depend on life underwater, and healthy people will depend on healthy waters. Norway aims to strengthen the role of sustainable aquatic foods in supporting sustainable food systems, healthier diets, and climate. This aligns with the mission of the Global Action Network on Sustainable Food from the Oceans and Inland Waters for Food Security and Nutrition, led by Norway under the UN Decade of Action on Nutrition. Our food systems put pressure on the climate and are also victims of climate change. Yet transitioning to sustainable food system is part of the solution to reducing global greenhouse gas emissions. Increased production of aquatic food is part of the solution. And then there's simple fact that all the benefits of aquatic food matter little if the food is not eaten. We must increase the consumption of sustainable aquatic foods, embracing a broader range of species, including low trophic levels. Not just for the health of our climate, aquatic foods are treasure chests of vital nutrients. It can help us fight hidden hunger, caused by lack of essential micronutrients. On that note, I want to say that Norway appreciates Brazil's leadership to fight hunger and poverty. We are proud vice chairs of the Global Alliance core group, and we will continue to contribute to its goals, aligning with our strategy, combining forces against hunger, a policy to improve food self-sufficiency. Brazil's roles with the G20 presidency last year and as COP30 host this year put you in a unique position to advocate a scale-up of climate finance for sustainable food systems. Norway will fully support Brazil's efforts, and we embrace the role and responsibility of being a major seafood nation with many of the solutions and know-how the future will need. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much for bringing the experience of Norway and about the international cooperation on fisheries. That was very important. I will call Mrs. Carmen, please. You have the floor.
Buenas tardes, es un gusto poder hablar con ustedes. Estábamos hablando de las evidencias. Sí, nosotros hemos trabajado bastante para la generación de las evidencias en el consorciado, siempre con el punto de vista de vacía amazónica, ¿no? Entonces, cuando nos referimos, ¿acá? ¿Dónde? Oh. Ya. Estamos ahora hablando de los grandes bagres en un contexto especial, cambio climático, que está causando una pérdida grande de la diversidad biológica, ¿no? Entonces nosotros tenemos que generar evidencias para hacer una gestión más adecuada de estos recursos. Entonces eso es lo que está sucediendo con los grandes bagres, ¿no? Y ya estamos viendo, mire, ese estudio del 2009 ya mostraba que había una sucesión en los desembarques. Los desembarques ya no habrían los grandes silúridos, los grandes carácidos, ¿no? Sino ya estaban reemplazando por los peces de pequeño y mediano porte, que son los peces consumidores primarios y secundarios. Y esto es un reporte que hemos sacado de ICTIO, ¿no? De la red Alianzas Aguas Amazónicas. Entonces ustedes ven también que nuestros grandes bagres ya están en la base, ya no son fuertes en los desembarques. Entonces está sucediendo algo, ¿no? Entonces ahí la evidencia, todos hemos trabajado mucho con la teoría de Barthes y Gulden de 1997, que decía que todo esto era un solo stock pesquero que se movía en toda la cuenca, ¿no? Pero y eso era en base a solo estudios de desembarque pesquero, pero estudios moleculares ya nos muestran que no es bien así, ¿no? Que si ustedes ven, aquí, si hablamos del cauce principal del río, encontramos, cierto, que hay un solo stock que se mueve desde acá, desde el delta, en el Pará, hasta los ríos andino-amazónicos, pero si tú tomas la cuenca del río Madeira, que termine en el río Madre de Dios, ya encuentras otros clústeres genéticos que no encontrabas en Iquitos, ¿no? Entonces, otras herramientas se van sumando y nos permiten conocer qué está sucediendo con el recurso. La ciencia evoluciona y nuestra percepción de los recursos también evolucionan, ¿no? Entonces, eso es lo que tenemos que ver. Si nos sumamos la microquímica que hicimos con Marilia, con Carolina Doria, con Fabrice Duponchel y los colaboradores norteamericanos, vemos que pues ya evidenciamos que hay un fenómeno de homing, ¿no? Que estos peces de la dorada regresa a los mismos lugares que nacieron para reproducirse, ¿no? Y ahí nos muestra ya otro panorama, ¿no? Allá tenemos un panorama más drástico y podemos ver el impacto de las mega obras sobre estos stocks pesqueros, ¿no? Estamos forzando a la especie a ser residentes, ¿no? Forzados en el alto Beni, Madre de Dios, ¿No? ¿Por qué? Porque ya hay dos hidroeléctricas que han roto la fluidez de la cuenca, ¿no? Entonces, también nosotros en el IAP, en la Amazonía peruana, hemos monitoreado cómo va la dinámica de los huevos, de las larvas de estos peces a través de metabarcoding, ¿no? Entonces, nosotros hemos podido ver cuándo es el pico reproductivo de estas especies que sustentan las pesquerías de la Amazonía brasilera en el cauce principal del río, porque ahí nacen, ¿no? Entonces ahí nos hemos dado cuenta que al contrario a lo que se pensaba, cuando termina la vaciantes, que es el mayor pico de reproducción del dorado, por ejemplo, ¿no? No sé cómo es esto. ¿Aquí está? Ya me voy a quedar sin dedo. Entonces eso nos muestra que nosotros tenemos que tener cuidado cuando hagamos los grandes emprendimientos, las grandes infraestructuras, porque estamos rompiendo el flujo migratorio de estas especies, ¿no? Como el dorado y también como ¿cómo se llama? ¿Cómo le llaman ustedes? La manitoa, ¿no? Entonces, porque rompemos el flujo de esos cauces, ¿no? Entonces, también en Perú se está sirviendo otra nueva amenaza que son las hidrovías, ¿no? Porque esas hidrovías van a jalar miles de huevos y larvas miles de huevos y larvas van a ser arrasados. Porque eso no es una piscina, ¿no? Entonces, vas a sacar el sedimento, pero toneladas de toneladas están bajando de los Andes, ¿no? Con el río. Entonces eso tendría que ser, tienes que dragar toda la vida. ¿Y dónde van a estar los peces? ¿Dónde están los huevos? Las larvas. No va a haber. Entonces, ¿qué va a sustentar las pesquerías amazónicas? No, nuestros estudios moleculares mostraban que 97 especies se reproducen en el Marañón y en el Ucayali. Y ahí estaba el dorado, ahí estaba la manitoa, ahí están los grandes bagres, los grandes saltones, ¿no? El filamentosos y el capapreton también, ¿no? Entonces, esto es realmente una amenaza a la sobrevivencia de estos grandes migradores, ¿no? Entonces, nosotros lo que debemos hacer es articularnos dentro del bioma, trabajar en conjunto. Ya no es hora de trabajar separados entre los países, sino de articular, porque estos ríos atravesan por lo menos 4 países, ¿no? Perú, Colombia, Bolivia también en la parte sur, Brasil, ¿no? Entonces, eso tiene que haber leyes y políticas transfronterizas si queremos que el recurso sobreviva en el tiempo, ¿no? Porque así también trabajando en conjunto podemos nosotros tener un mismo mensaje cuando hacemos este manejo sostenible. También podemos conectar las iniciativas que se están dando, ¿no? Ya de forma extraoficial dentro de redes, como por ejemplo Aguas Amazónicas, ¿no? Pásalo tú. ¿No? Entonces, ¿qué nos permitiría una visión global? Mantener los sistemas fluviales conectados. Eso es una prioridad, ¿no? Después tenemos las llanuras inundables, deben de mantener su integridad. Las hidrovías serían una decisión fatal, ¿no? ¿Por qué razón? Porque ellos están pensando que es una piscina, vamos a sacar la arena. No, pero ahí hay vida. Estás jalando huevos, larvas, juveniles de estas especies. Estás jalando el zooplancton, el fitoplancton, todo lo que se alimentan. Y además, ¿dónde vas a poner esa arena? Vas a destrozar todas las márgenes de los ríos donde esos peces usan para reproducirse, zonas de desove de muchas especies. Entonces el impacto es bastante fuerte. Entonces también, si no manejamos de forma sostenible esta especie, toda la cadena se cae. Porque si se van los grandes migradores, se tiene que reorganizar toda la cadena trófica. Hay un efecto cascada por falta de elementos que destrozaría todo lo que conocemos ahorita de las pesquerías. Eso tenemos que pensarlo, no solamente que desaparece una especie, esa desaparición de esa especie causa ese desorden en el sistema trófico que podría ser irreversible, ¿no? Entonces, por lo que yo pienso que nosotros debemos implementar políticas transfronterizas para facilitar rutas y estructuras de gobernanza que permitan asegurar la sostenibilidad del recurso pesquero en un esquema de alta ocupación territorial y cambio climático en el bioma amazónico. Muchas gracias. Yo siempre digo, somos la voz de aquellos que no tienen voz. Gracias.
Thank you very much. Muchas gracias, Carmen, por presentar tu pesquisa. ¿Sí? Começa mi español. Thank you very much, everyone. I don't think we have time for questions, but just to wrap up, I think the key that we find here is the major key is the connectivity of fisheries, of fish. And the main goal here that we need to achieve among our countries of the Amazon in order to make is cooperation. I think the key is cooperation. And without cooperation, we cannot manage our fish the way we should, and we cannot discuss, and we cannot do a good job. So I think the key is cooperation. I will finish here. If anyone has a comment, please do it. We have 2 minutes or less. I think 1 minute. No, we have nothing. Yeah, we do. 5 minutes if you have a comment. Do you want to talk? No? No? Okay. So we finish. Thank you very much.